So now we are ready, and Mustafa is one of my best friends and also one of the great engineer, and also is a great staff engineer at MailChimp, Intuit companies, and in the US. Mustafa, let's start.
Hey everyone, thanks Mikhail for introducing me and thank you so much for having me. And sorry for being late. I'm living in New York City. You never can understand when you need to leave the home to be on time. So I'm so sorry for that. It wasn't my bad. Okay, let me share my screen. Hopefully I can. Okay, I didn't expect that. I was thinking I'm gonna need to approve the permission or something like that. Looks like I already approved it. What I'm going to talk about today is think like an engineer and act like a leader. Why I would like to talk about this topic. The reason is that through the years that I've been working with different engineers, I had so many different experiences with different people from different countries and different cultures. But what I see, which is common with all the people that I've worked with, is sense of leadership, which is very important when you are working as an engineer. And it impacts the team, it impacts the quality of the work that you're doing, and it has a lot of impact on so many other things. So that's why I'm here, and I would like to discuss about this thing. And all of them are my personal experiences. It's not something factual or something based on any research or something like that. That's all my understanding about the world around me. So as I mentioned on the bottom of this page is sort of changing your mindset instead of, teaching you something technical or anything related to nowadays technical thing. Okay. Going to the next slide. If I can find, how can I do that? Okay. Who is my audience? Who am I talking to? Actually, I know most of the people who are listening to this lecture are software engineers, but my target is not only software engineers. I'm talking to anyone who wants to create something with high quality as an engineer and trying to do the right thing. So if you are not a software engineer, if you're new or you're an expert in the software engineering or anything else, I think this is a good topic for you. And I would appreciate it if you can bear with me and let me explain my thoughts here. And I'm so sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. That's why I'm not 100% focused. Mikhail, are you laughing at me? Okay.
Yeah, no worries, man. You are doing a great job.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Okay, I'm going to the next slide, which is about the God. I'm not a religious person. I used to be, but I'm not anymore. And the reason is that I'm tired of following someone else's thought and saying, okay, someone created this world. But there are some very, very obvious reasons behind this slide. The universe is very, very precise and it's well designed. So, me as an engineer, as a software engineer, I can't accept it. There is nothing behind it. I'm not sure if it's a god, if it's a human or a robot or anything you can call it, alien or anyone. But obviously, there is something which is creating and maintaining this world. This is very precise. This is very well designed. So I can't believe it. If I want to give you an example, take a look at the universe or solar system, the system that we are living in. Imagine if Earth was a little bit closer to the sun, what would happen to us? Or if it was a little bit far away from the sun. So everything would has changed if it was like that, right? So that's the reason that I'm saying this is a system which is designed in the best way possible. And it based on so many different rules and conditions, which is working together in the best way possible to let us to live in this beautiful planet, right? And it's not the only solar system that we have in the universe. There are a lot of them. There are a lot of different things. And we are very, very, very small, teeny tiny thing in the universe, right? So that's the reason behind why I'm thinking God is an engineer, because this system designed in the best way possible to work together, right? Another example is human body. If you take a look at the human body, you can see it consists of software and hardware, right? Your mind, your brain is the software. I mean, the thing that software installed in, and the rest of your body is the hardware, and your body is controlled by hormones and DNA and this kind of things, right? So it reminds me software programming. You are writing a program which is running as hardware and controlling every single thing behind that, right? So that these are the reasons that I'm thinking God is an engineer and designing very well systems which led us to live on this universe, right? Enough for God and this kind of things. Going to the next topic. Why that matters? Why I'm thinking in this way? Why I'm thinking we need to be careful about what we are designing? Why I use the God or the creator as an example, and why I showed you the universe. The reason is that whatever we are making is impacting people's lives. You might say, okay, I'm just developing a mobile application people are using for, entertaining themselves, or I'm creating a game which doesn't have anything, but you never know what would happen in the future. So this is a mindset. This is not about what you're working on at this point. It's about the future. It's about how do you think as an engineer. So that's why it's matter. So I'm going to show you some examples of bad engineering decisions which, had a lot of cost on people's life and caused a lot of disasters, right? The first one is Chernobyl. You might already heard about that in so many places. So many people died, and some areas are not livable just because of some, human mistakes and bugs in the system. So you can imagine if you make a mistake, it could cost a lot. It's not only about creating an application or something like that. Or Hayat Regency walkaway collapse, which caused 114 deaths when it collapsed. It's not related to the software engineering, but it's a civil engineering, right? Again, engineers are leading the world, so that's why. And other examples, as you can see. And recently, if you following the news, you were seeing a building collapsed in Thailand because there was a earthquake in Myanmar. It was another example, right? You can name a lot of different examples in civil engineering or mechanical engineering or anything else in the nowadays which cause people to die, right? But what about the software engineering? There are a lot of examples about the software engineering as well. I mean, you are not just developing an application. Sometimes you might work on airplane software, right? Maybe you are creating an AI. Maybe you are working on radiation machine or something like that, writing a software. Or maybe you are working in a company, a capital company, which is for the stock. And you might say, okay, it doesn't have any impact on the people's life, but imagine about the people who lost their, life saving, which happened for Knight Capital Group in 2012. They lost $440 million in 30 minutes because of the bug. Imagine how many people got impacted because of that small mistake that someone made in the deployment process. Again, there are a lot of examples. These are just a few of them, but this is showing how important our job is as an engineer. So why we have to be careful what we are doing, and we have to try to design the system in the best way possible, right? Again, this is about the mindset. This is not about the technical. This is not about the software engineering or civil engineering. This is about how we are thinking as engineers, right? Okay, as I said, engineering is a mindset to me. It's not a job title. So I'm not an engineer because this is a well-paid job. Actually, it is, but this is not my reason, and I'm charging the companies a lot because I think this is the value of me. But this is a different thing. All of us need to make money, but it's not about money. This is very confusing, right? I mean, you need to have money to be able to make your life. You wouldn't be able to live without having money. So that's important. But the reason that you're an engineer is not because of the money. Imagine if a physician working for money and you go there and ask them for a treat and they work for money, what would happen for you, right? So if you are getting paid and you are getting well paid, actually you are getting a lot of money, it doesn't mean you're working for the money. It means you deserve it. So if you're an engineer, you should work in a way that tells you deserve the money that you're getting, right? And how you can do it. These are the things that I'm thinking about every day and trying to constantly improve myself to deserve the money that I'm getting and also to deserve the position that I have, right? I'm gonna go to the next slide and explain what do I mean. As I said, mindset is the most important thing in this area, right? Whatever else that you're doing, whatever else you're improving in yourself, it's something which is completing your mindset. So learning skills, responsibility, ownership, teamwork, leadership, all of them are going to help you to build that mindset for yourself. And these are the topics that I'm thinking about every day with myself and trying to improve myself in each of them to be able to set up the mindset for myself. And it's not only about the job that I have, it's about my life as well. I mean, if you think about the responsibility, you are not living alone, you are living with a family, right? So you are responsible for that. Teamwork, again, in your family, you are working as a team with your wife, with your parents, you're working as a team. So learning how to work in a team is very important. Leadership is another thing. If you are a parent, you are leading your children, right? So this is very important to know how to lead people. So it's not only about the engineering, it's about everything in your life. It's a mindset, as I said, right? Going to the next slide, which is a little bit technical, but I will try to keep it high level. What do I mean learning skills? One of the things that I've been observing every day since I started working with other engineers is that learning is one of the difficulties that everyone have, especially because this industry, software engineering industry, is evolving every day. Every day something new is coming to the game, and you have to learn it. But how do you learn? How do you know what you learn from, where you learn, and who you can get help from, right? So again, since this is a mindset, I'm not talking about how to do that. I'm trying to share my mindset about how I'm learning and what do I do to keep myself updated, right? So one of the things that I've been seeing a lot is people thinking if you find a senior person in a team or in a field, you can learn from them a lot, which I think is a wrong assumption. It doesn't mean seniors are not good. It means seniority doesn't have a clear definition. You know, what is the meaning of the seniority? If someone has a lot of expertise, if someone work in very specific field for a long term, if someone is old or young, what is the meaning of the seniority? What defines that? So one of the things that I learned very well during the years is that I can learn from everyone, especially experts. Doesn't matter if they just started their work, if they just educated from the university, or the person who is younger than me. This is one thing that I learned. Learn from experts. Doesn't matter who they are, how old they are. Just learn if they knew something more than you, right? Another thing is do not learn just coding. If you know how to code, it doesn't mean you are an engineer. It means you learn how to speak to a computer. Just like another language, it doesn't mean you can design or create an application. It means you just learn how to speak in a different language. That's it. And it doesn't make you an engineer. So learning just coding doesn't have anything. You have to learn about so many different things. For example, if you learn about the space, you're going to learn something new, which is out of the box of your engineering skills, right? Of course, NASA and so many other companies are trying to resolve so many problems. So if you are putting yourself, if you are trying to learn from them, there are so many things that you can learn from them. What I'm trying to say is that do not put yourself in the coding skills and just trying to be the best in the technical thing. Try to learn from other people from other industries, maybe car industry, maybe space people who are going to the space, maybe financial people. There are a lot of things outside of the technical environment you can learn, which gonna teach you how to think out of the box. Sometimes you are going to find some solutions outside of the technical industry, right? So this is very important. I'm going to give you some examples. I have a friend who is running a startup for 3D printing industry. and they are working on huge 3D printers for industrial use cases. There are a lot of people who are working on this kind of things, right? But these people are software engineers who move to that area. With having the mindset of the software engineer, they started to create something new, right? One of the problems that they have is the vibration. So they can control the vibration during the 3D printing something, which is huge, right? So if they had only mechanical engineering skills, they would try to resolve all the problems with suspensions or something like that, right? But they mix the software and hardware together to control the vibration. So every leg of the device that they created has its own mind to set itself with other legs to reduce the vibration, to get a better quality of the 3D printed object, right? So you can see if you have other skills, it's going to help you to find another solution. Tesla is using that a lot in different things. One of the things that I like about the Tesla and Elon Musk is that he's thinking out of the box a lot. One of the examples that I've heard is the cost of producing electric cars is a lot. So it doesn't make sense to create an electric car. It's hard to sell them, right? So what they do is that they are reducing the cost of developing a car. How? They implemented a new way for creating the chassis of the car by 3D printing that, which has a lot of impact on it. I learned about it when I was trying to reduce the cost of content creating for my wife. So I learned how to do that by learning about this thing, and it helped me a lot. So that's what I'm trying to say. Learn from other people outside of your industry. Do not try to learn only about coding or technical things. And the last thing is that use tools, but do not rely on the tools. Why I'm saying that? Because recently people have started to coding with AI, and they saying, okay, AI can do everything, but this is wrong. At least at this point, this is very wrong, right? It can help you to write something, but it can't think instead of you. So if you're using a tool which is very useful, and AI is very useful, I'm using that. Actually, I use AI for generating this beautiful presentation, but I'm not relying on that. I'm thinking I'm getting help from AI to do something. So why I'm saying that? Because you are listening a lot recently. AI can create an entire application. That's true, but it's not designing that. It's just copy pasting someone else thought and put them together and give it to you. This is wrong because the businesses are different. So you can't use someone else's business logic in your code. So you have to design it for yourself, right? So that's the reason what I'm saying. Use tools, but do not rely on them. Learn the basic knowledge of whatever you are doing and try to use the tools to speed it up. Okay? Going to the next one. Teamwork. One of the biggest challenges that we have with some engineers is that it's really hard to, convince them to work with others. I, I'm so sad that I'm saying that, but it's true. It's really hard. Most of the engineers that I work with is thinking they have to finish something themselves, but it's not working in that way. Even if you are the greatest mind in the team, you have to work with others. I'm using Messi and Ronaldo here because they are the best football players everyone know, right? So if you put them in a very, very weak team, what would happen? They can't show themselves, right? Because they are shining if they are playing with the greatest players in the world. So that's why it's very important to be a team player, not just a best player. A best player is shining whenever they are working in a team. So having a teamwork is very, very important a skill an engineer need, especially nowadays. People are just heads down and trying to implement something without working with others and collaborating, right? So I think this is another thing that I'm trying to work on myself to improve it. As I said, it's a mindset. It's not a technical thing you need to set for yourself, for your life, and for your job, right? The next thing is responsibility. Unfortunately, when you pay people a lot, people care less. I don't know why, but this is my belief. I'm seeing that in so many different things. It's not only software engineering, because it's it's going to be more about the money rather than the job. So the responsibility is vanishing after a while because people are trying to make their money. So they don't care what happens in the product. They just want to make their money and leave. That's it. So responsibility is very important and it impacts people's life. Imagine you create an application people are using every day and you have a slow query in it, right? You would say, okay, this is not a big job, a big deal. It's just taking 10 seconds to load it. It's fine. No, it's not fine because you're wasting 10 seconds of the people life, right? This is a very, very small example, but I'm just trying to say responsibility is very important, very, very important, especially when you're an engineer because you are creating something for the people to use and they are relying on it to make their life. So this is very important. Responsibility is another thing. I can speak about this one for hours, but I would rather to go to the next one. Ownership. This is related to the responsibility again. Unfortunately, at least based on my experience, sometimes it's hard to make people to think as an owner. It's really hard to make them to think in this way because the owner fight for equality, right? An owner is taking risks, but people who got employed usually making their money and leaving the company if anything goes wrong, right? But the owner is staying with the company, fixing the problem, taking the responsibility, and taking the risks to make it better. So that's the ownership um, sense or mindset that you need to have. And it's really hard because, when you're working in a company, you're a part of the company. You're saying, okay, I'm not the owner. Why should I fight for this thing? And it's never easy to fight because there are other people around you. You might be a very new engineer in the team. You are trying to do a good thing, but other people get used to the status quo and they don't want to change it. So it's really hard to fight with them, to convince them to move to something better or implement something better. So especially it happens whenever you want to do a refactor. There are a lot of restrictions in front of that. But what I'm trying to say is that if you don't have the ownership mindset, you wouldn't be able to do that. You are not an employee in a company, you are a part of the company. You are the company. So you are the owner. If company get hurt, you are getting hurt as well. We are, tied to each other. So sense of the ownership is one of the most important things, and it causes people to take risk because they want to make something better. So they take risk and they take responsibility, and it is cause people to be more bold and be more visible. If you are having trouble by being visible, probably that's a part that you are doing wrong. You don't have enough sense of ownership. That's what I'm trying to do every day, and that I'm seeing the impact of this sense in my job and my growth in my career. So this is the part probably that you are missing. Okay, this is almost my last slide. I have only one after this one, but here I'm talking about the leadership. All I said about the engineering was mostly about the leadership, right? Responsibility, ownership, accountability, teamwork. All of them are, if you can change your mindset, if you can set them in your mind, you are going to be a leader automatically. You don't need to do anything else. This is the starting point of being a leader because you are leading your job and your life. So you would be able to lead other people's life as well. So those previous slides are necessarily if you want to be a leadership in your job, right? A leader in your job, actually. So I put them, whatever I talked about in this slide, to emphasize on the importance of these four things. Ownership. As I said, ownership is very important for you because you are going to work as an owner in the company, and you can imagine if a company, all of them are feeling the same, what would be the power of the company, right? Responsibility. Again, responsibility is very important, very, very important, because you are responsible for for the thing that you are doing. If you are a software engineer, you are familiar with Git, right? Whenever I have a project, And whenever someone pushes me to deliver it as soon as possible, I do my best to do that. But at the same time, I'm responsible about the thing that I'm creating. I always saying that I'm putting my name on it. So if tomorrow someone else coming in and see my name, I'm responsible for that. So the time is important for me. This is my skill to find a way, the best way possible, to make it in a best way possible and flexible way to be able to change it in the future. But I'm not putting something, just to work in that time because I want to pass the deadline. I want to meet the deadline, right? So the responsibility is very important in my job, and also it's gonna help you in your team because as a leader, you are going to be responsible for the decisions that you are making. So if you are under pressure and you are making a wrong decision because you want to meet the deadline, you are responsible for that. And also you are responsible for your team's decision, right? So the responsibility is very important. Next one is teamwork, as I discussed. As a leader, your job is not doing everything by yourself. You are not the leader if you are doing everything by yourself. You have to motivate people to do different things. You have to actually finding talents in the team. You have to letting them to be innovative. This is a job of the leader, a teamwork, who is ready for taking risk, who is in front of the line as a leader and working with others to let them to grow and showing themselves. So you need to know how to work in a team. You can't be the best person in the team and just forcing everyone follow you. It's not a leadership. It's a dictatorship, right? So these are different things. You are not a boss. You are a leader. So it's important to know what is the teamwork, how you can trust others, how you can help others. So knowing how to work in a team is one of the most important things a leader needs to have. Accountability, again, this is one of the most important things, I think. When you are a leader, you are accountable for whatever happens in your team. And also you are accountable whatever happens in the company because you are a leader, right? This is a mindset. This is not your job. This is not your duties in your job description. It's your mindset wherever you go. Doesn't matter if you're a software engineer or working in a company, doesn't matter. This is the mindset that you have, right? So accountability is very important. If you are making a decision, you should be accountable. If you made a mistake, you should be accountable, right? So this is a very important skill for a leader. You should be ready to get a lot of blames, a lot of bad words because you are accountable. So this is the next thing and the last thing that I have about the leadership. Uh, and that's almost all of that. As I said, this is my day-to-day life to understand how to be better in each of these sections. How can I improve myself and how can I expand it into my personal life, or if I need to change my job, or if I'm gonna run a company. All of these things is gonna help me to do that. So thank you so much for listening. I'm not sure, Mikhail, if you have any question, FAQ or not, but if you have, I'm ready to answer. If
Yeah,
not,
thank you, Mustafa. I think it was one of the great webinars that I saw. Thanks and well done. It was really nice. You almost cover everything in this role. Actually, the first question is my question. Based on your webinar, maybe it's good to talk about these parts a bit more because you mentioned really nice example about the different company, about the responsibility, about the engineer role. And in one of the part, you mentioned learning from other industry, right? As you mentioned the story about Elon Musk and some other companies. So, do you think it means also software engineering role also is going to another level, I think, and I think with AI nowadays, we should think about more than just being a software engineer and going to the higher level, think about the product, as you mentioned about accountability and something like that. What do you think about the future of the software engineering role?
With having AI,
Yeah,
unfortunately, I should have to say people who are coding only, they are going to lose their job because that's a part that AI is doing, right?
yeah,
So if you are just a coder, if you're just a developer, you know how to talk to the computer, you're almost done because everyone can do that. If you know how to speak to, ChatGPT, you can write code. And I've seen a lot of people recently creating their own applications by using ChatGPT. But it's not what I'm trying to say. It's not about how to code with ChatGPT or something like that. But this is a mindset that you need to have to use the tools to make it better, but you are the person who is taking the responsibility in the company, right? I'm going back to the same topic. Sorry, I'm stopping here. But what I'm saying, what's my answer to your question? If you are a coder, you are going to lose your job.
yeah,
Try to set the mindset.
yeah, indeed. Thanks. Yeah, Ahmad also said it was really helpful.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ahmad, for your comment. Other guys, please, if you have any question, you can ask your question in Persian, Kurdish, and English. I will translate it to English if it's not English. So feel
Turkish
free to
also.
ask. Okay. Yeah,
I can support none of those languages. I'm so sorry, but Mikhail is here.
yeah.
Um,
Okay. Thanks. I think there is no other question, I believe.
yeah, this is the last slide. Even if you have any question, I'm not gonna answer that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
yeah, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much, Mikhail, and everyone who is watching. Hope we have more time in the future to discuss about other things as well.
yeah. Thanks, Mustafa. I saw some other feedbacks from other people who are in live, so they are really happy with the webinar. Thanks. And also we are recording this webinar as well, so it will be on YouTube in maybe next 2 weeks. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining us, and thanks Mustafa for your time. It was really nice, and I learned a lot again.
Thank you.
Thanks, and have a great day, everyone.